CGTN's Ollie Barrett reporting from London. Garrett Martin is a lecturer at the School of International Service at American University here in Washington. He's written extensively on European foreign policy, the European Union, and Britain. So will there be a constitutional, problem here, a controversy? Explain the outrage for us here, and what does this move really mean?
Well, I'm not sure there's necessarily a constitutional outrage. That is certainly a matter of debate, and we've heard some very virulent words, people talking of a coup, of dictatorship. So certainly those who are worried about a no-deal Brexit have used those terms. I think others have suggested it's maybe more of a dialing up of the political temperature in an already very volatile situation. For those who are worried about a no deal or who want the UK to remain, they're concerned that essentially they're taking away any opportunity to weigh in. So I think it's really going to create a lot more uncertainty in a situation that was already very sort of worrying.
Talk about the strategy here by Boris Johnson. And is it something, is he gambling here? Will it work?
It's certainly a gamble, and I think he has made his political career by taking risks. I mean, certainly when he ran to be the mayor of London in 2008, that was a gamble. So he's made his career that way. I think he's pursuing multiple strategies, in my view. One is certainly that he wants to take control back of the process. If we think back in the spring, at times Parliament had tried to wrest control away from the Theresa May government, and they had really forced Theresa May to ask for that extension up to 31st of October. So there's that element. I think he campaigned on the fact that he was going to deliver Brexit, so he's trying to take decisive action. And let's not forget, probably at the back of the mind, he wants to be re-elected. Right now, he has a tiny majority. There's going to be an election sometime sooner or later. And he has to be worried as well of being outflanked by the Brexit party of Nigel Farage. So I think he's really following or pursuing multiple goals through this risky gamble.
So everyone's been talking about what happens up until October 31st, but do you think he has a plan for what comes afterward? Do you think he's prepared for a no-deal Brexit?
Well, that's a very good question. You would certainly hope, because the forecast, the predictions is that a no deal could be very consequential. It could be very disastrous and very chaotic. Now, granted, because the Brexit saga has been prolonged, Number 10 and UK officials have had more time to prepare. I think the key factor is, and this is often forgotten, that even if Britain crashes without a deal, they're still going to have to negotiate afterwards anyway with the European Union for the future terms of trade, for the future arrangements. My guess is that still the most important issue for Boris Johnson is at one time running an election and hoping that he can run on this platform of the people versus the politicians, or Boris Johnson versus the Parliament, gain a broader majority, and then have a greater cushion for whatever negotiation and with the EU and for its domestic agenda.
What do you make of some of the pictures that we've seen so far come out from this announcement? On Twitter, abolish the monarchy was also trending on Twitter. The Queen is not being spared any criticism here. What do you think we'll see in the next few days, the mood there in the UK?
Well, as I said, I think it's going to be really explosive. It was already tense because, the clock is winding down. So the closer we get to October, there was always going to be a greater sense of tension. I think that certainly dialed up the temperature by several levels. So I think prepare for some fireworks, I believe, next week when Parliament resumes on September 3rd. The trouble for Parliament and for those who oppose no deal is that really they will have limited time. They have two major options. They can try to pass legislation to basically extend the clock or to sort of prevent a no deal, but that's hard to do in 5 days or so before prorogation, before suspension. Or they could try to bring Boris Johnson's government down through a no confidence vote. But again, that's challenge to convince some Tory members to vote against their own government. So
challenging, and is it likely, really?
I think that's really, if I had the answer, I would certainly tell you, but I'm not sure. I think it's still going to be difficult ultimately for many of those, Conservative members, even if they don't like the idea of a no deal, it's still a big gamble to go against their Prime Minister, who's still quite popular.
All right, we'll see what the next few weeks bring. Garrett Martin, thank you so much.